Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why am I here? Not just physically, but in the grand scheme of existence. Why do I wake up every day and do the things I do? From a young age, we're told to find our purpose, to go out into the world and make something of ourselves, to chase dreams, to be somebody. But what if that chase is the very thing standing in the way? What if meaning isn't something to be hunted down, but something that gently arrives when we stop searching? What if you're not lost at all? From childhood, we're taught to aim for success. We're handed blueprints for life, to go to school, get a job, start a family, buy a house, be productive, make a difference. And behind it all, in this ever-present question, am I living a meaningful life? We seek titles, we seek validation, we seek purpose in what we do, in what we own, in how we appear to others. But the deeper we chase meaning outside ourselves, the more elusive it becomes. It's like running after the horizon. The faster you run, the further it moves away. You achieve something, and for a brief moment, you feel fulfilled. Then the feeling fades, and the hunger returns. So you set a bigger goal, and run again. This hunger for purpose isn't bad. It's deeply human, but it can turn into a trap. You begin to measure your worth by how on track you are. If your goals are delayed, you feel behind. If you question your career, you feel lost. If you haven't had a grand vision, you feel like a failure. And yet most of the people quietly carry this confusion, the feeling that they should know their purpose, but they don't. So they fill the void with activity. Stay busy, keep achieving, keep posting. But inside, a quiet emptiness grows. Here's where the paradox begins to reveal itself. The moment you stop trying so hard to find purpose, something interesting happens. A stillness emerges. You begin to notice things. The warmth of the sunlight on your skin, the quiet intelligence of the world around you. You realize that life doesn't need to scream at you. It's always been whispering. And maybe meaning isn't found in your next achievement, but in your current awareness. Maybe presence is purpose. Consider this. A baby doesn't need a purpose to be precious. A sunset doesn't ask if it's useful. A tree doesn't wonder if it's fulfilling its potential. They simply are. Maybe you're not here to chase something. Maybe you're here to experience something. To feel, to observe, to grow. Organically, not forcefully. In stillness, your life begins to speak to you. You begin to find meaning in simple places. In watching a child laugh, in holding someone's hand, in making tea, in doing nothing at all. These aren't grand gestures. They're micro moments of presence. And they're often more nourishing than the biggest external wins. Because when you're present, you're connected. And connection is what we truly seek beneath all the goals and ambitions. Not just connections to others, but to life itself. Modern life is obsessed with becoming. We're always in transition, becoming better, richer, smarter, more enlightened. But this chase assumes something dangerous, that who you are now is not enough. You live life like a ladder, climbing each rung, hoping the next one will finally validate your existence. But even when you reach the top, you often feel empty, because the ladder was leaning on the wrong wall. What if purpose isn't about becoming, but already being fully here, in your body, in this moment, without judgment? There's a quiet pressure that comes with the word purpose. It can feel heavy, like you need to change the world, be extraordinary, leave a legacy. But not everyone is here to be famous or revolutionary. Some are here to love deeply, to listen quietly, to heal slowly, to make someone else's life a little lighter. Purpose isn't a competition. It's not ranked. It doesn't have to be grand to be meaningful. Your existence is not a pitch. It's a poem. Most of our pain around purpose comes from comparison. We scroll through curative lives on social media, people who seem to have it all figured out. We compare their highlight reels to our behind-the-scenes confusion. And we feel like we're falling behind. But what you're really comparing is stories, not truths. The mind loves to narrative. She's doing better. He found his calling. I'm lost. But narratives are not reality. They're filters. When you drop the story, you return to the moment. And in the moment, there is peace. When was the last time you truly sat in silence? No phone, no goals, no stimulation, just you and the soft hum of existence. Silence is not the absence of life. It's the doorway into it. In silence, your inner noise settles, and underneath the noise, you may discover something radical. That you are already whole, already home, already enough. And in that realization, meaning begins to bloom, not from effort, but from presence. There's a subtle shift that happens when you stop chasing purpose. You start aligning with it instead. Alignment feels light. It feels like flow. You're not pushing, you're allowing. You start choosing what resonates instead of what impresses. You say yes to things that feel alive inside of you, and no to things that dim your spark. You stop asking, what should I be doing? And start asking, what feels true right now? This is not laziness, it's trust. The great irony of purpose is that it often shows up when you're not looking for it. Like laughter during grief, like love when you least expect it. Purpose isn't something you find at the end of a map, it's something that finds you when you're fully alive. When you're honest, when you're present, when you're not pretending. Meaning becomes a side effect of authenticity. The more you live from your center, the more life begins to reveal its meaning to you. Naturally, gently, without force. We've been taught to seek answers, to solve the riddle of our lives like a puzzle. But some things aren't meant to be solved. They're meant to be lived. So what if instead of asking, what is my purpose, you ask, what feels alive right now? What am I curious about? What brings me peace? When you live those questions, answers tend to emerge without effort. Not with fireworks, but with whispers. Much of modern storytelling romanticizes a single arc, the hero's journey. Leave comfort, face trials, return transformed, save the world. But real life doesn't always follow this arc. Some lives are cyclical, spiritual, slow, impersonal, or seemingly ordinary. Not every soul comes here to slay dragons. Some come to plant gardens, to hold hands through grief, to offer quiet wisdom to a single person in need. There is dignity in stillness. There is grace in simplicity. You don't have to be a hero to have a meaningful life. The need to know is strong. It gives the illusion of control. Perhaps part of our deeper purpose is to become comfortable with the unknown, to live in it without panic, to let mystery be our home, not our fear. But when you stop needing to know, you start to feel. And that's when life begins to teach you in ways logic never could. Meaning is not something we drag out of the future, it's something we infuse into the present. When you're fully present, with a loved one, with a sunset, you are living your purpose, whether you realize it or not. The act of presence itself is sacred, because in presence, You're not trying to be somewhere else. You're not trying to become someone else. You are fully here, and that is where meaning is born. Not in your plans, but in your awareness. Some think purpose must be selfless, that we must suffer to serve. But true service comes from overflow, not depletion. When you care for yourself, nurture your joy, and follow what lights you up, you become naturally generous, not out of guilt, but from fulfillment. You give without needing recognition. You help because it feels aligned, not because it checks a moral box. This kind of service is sustainable, and it's magnetic, because people can feel when love is given freely. We often expect purpose to arrive with trumpets, a blinding flash of clarity, but more often it arrives as a whisper, a soft pull, a passing curiosity, a nudge to try something new. Many ignore these whispers, waiting for something bigger. But the whisper is the beginning, is a thread that unravels a greater unfolding. When you follow that whisper, start the book, take the walk, make the call. You invite life to co-create with you. That's where synchronicity happens. That's when the path begins to form under your feet. What if life isn't a game to be won, but a garden to be tended? In a game, there are winners and losers, clear goals, rules, strategies. In a garden, there is care, patience, cycles, seasons. You don't rush a garden to grow. You nourish it. You listen to it. You let it surprise you. Maybe your purpose isn't a level to reach, but a rhythm to dance with. When you live like a gardener, you become attuned to life's subtleties. And meaning arises from your way of being, not your list of achievements. In many spiritual traditions, there's a powerful idea to die before you die. It means letting go of ego, letting go of the identity that clings to roles, titles, and narratives. When you die, what remains? Stillness, presence, peace. You realize you are not your job, not your past mistakes. You are awareness, and awareness doesn't need a purpose to be worthy. This death is not the end. It's the beginning of true life, a life lived freely, without the weight of providing anything. So where do we go from here? Well, nowhere. That's the paradox. You've never truly been lost. You've just been distracted. All the seeking, the striving, the existential digging, it was all leading you home. Back to the part of you that was never confused, never broken, never separated from meaning. You don't need to find your purpose. You need to feel your presence. Because from that presence, purpose flows naturally. It may look like creativity or compassion, or simply being a loving presence in someone's day. Whatever it is, it's already within you, waiting not to be chased, but to be remembered. And so we close the circle. You don't need to chase purpose like a ghost. You just need to pause long enough to feel that you've been living it all along. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.